of all, we want to thank you for coming out this evening so we can get your freshmen off on the right foot. For those of you that haven't had an opportunity to meet yet, my name is Corey Wright, and I'm the principal here at Rudolph Elgin High School. Now, part of the purpose for doing this is we want the transition for your student to be as smooth as possible. We know that the best thing that we can do for all of our students is to make sure that they get off on the right foot, whatever they're doing, whatever they want to do. So we want to introduce them to what Ms. Lee calls the ABCs of LE. We want to make sure that you know that we have a very strong counseling staff, student services staff. We want you to know that you are placing your students in the best hands possible. And we want to make sure that we take care of them, that we help them get off on the right foot, and that we help them transition as smoothly as possible. So tomorrow morning, one of our newest initiatives, the Link Crew, has been in place about 3 years. They will run orientation. So not only give them an idea of what goes on here at LE, clubs, organizations, but it'll also give them a chance to connect with some of the staff members here, as well as, which may be more important, some of the student leaders here. So we want to make sure that we do everything that we can to help continue the legacy of excellence here at Rudolph Elgin High School, and we want to do our part. So without further ado, I'm going to get out of the way and allow Ms. Lee to come up, or I'm just going to hand it to her here, and she can explain how we're going to proceed tonight.
Good evening, everyone. We are so excited. We really are to have you here as we start this transition with your students to LE High School. We are here to support you. And so, one, I can't take credit of this by myself. I have our staff here with me. And so, as I go through the presentation, the people that deals with whatever alphabet that we are doing, I'm going to introduce them. I think as a parent, it's very important to put a name with a face so that you can see, and they will have a chance to speak. A few housekeeping rules. You are given an index card. If you don't have an index card, if Ms. Green or Spring can come in, if you can raise your hand, we will give you an index card. Can someone in the back let them know they don't have cards? So on the card, as we do the presentation, if you have any questions, write your question on the card. Ms. Avery is one of the assistant principals here. She will collect the cards. So at the end, we can kind of have questions for you before the end, okay? Did everybody get a raffle ticket? Because we will be raffling some prizes at the end. Some raffle tickets are needed up here. I just want to say, I have allergies real bad. I pray that I can get through this without coughing, but if I have a coughing spell, we'll step in for you, okay? So we're going to get started. So the A through Z of being a Rudolph Elgin Demon. This is our bell schedule. We have 2 bell schedules. This is the bell schedule for the main building. We have a main building bell schedule, and we have a bell schedule for the annex. As I go through this presentation, you will understand why. There is a QR code that links you to our student handbook that explains all of this, and you'll get more details as we go. Next. And this is the annex bell schedule. So you will have students that may start off at the annex or main building, vice versa. And so they will get used to both schedules. Okay, I know it may look complicated, but it's not. So A, the alphabet A, attendance. I am going to let our attendance clerk, Mrs. Stephanie Huntley, talk about attendance.
Hey everybody, I'm Stephanie Huntley and I am one half of the part of our attendance and truancy team. So attendance is done a little differently in high school. All students are allowed 5 absences per class. After those 5 absences, they must be excused by what we consider a lawful excuse. You should have a piece of paper and a little goodie bag that you get that explains this in further detail. And a lawful excuse is something that's like a medical note or a legal excuse, but it has to be something that's lawfully excused in order for your kid to get credit for their class, because there are 2 components to earning a high school credit, and that's going to be your children's grades and them showing up to class. Okay. But we've attached our email address up there that reaches both Lindsay Jackson and I. If you have any questions about attendance, we're more than happy to answer those. So, yeah, an email one. Oh, yes, you can email doctor's excuses, any excuses. I will gladly take them via email, because I know that teenagers be teenagers sometimes, and sometimes we put those excuses in book bags and they never make it to us. I'm always glad to accept those via email. Okay?
And I will let our career facilitator, Ms. Maria Spring, do advisory.
Hi, thank you so much for coming. It really means a lot to have you here. Advisory is something I'm not sure that you had in middle school, but it's a once a week, 30-minute, 35-minute class that your student will go to on Wednesdays. And they will stay, ideally, if it works like we hope, with that same teacher for all 4 years that they are here at Lugolf Belgian High School. And basically, at the end of the day, it's how we want to build relationships. LE can be a big school, and we want them to have that one adult in the building that they can go to when they have questions. That adult that's going to hold them accountable for their grades, social, emotional, college, career. We cover different topics every week, and especially with the freshman mentors come in once a month, and they mentor them. And then at the end of the school year in April, we do a really fun thing called Reality Town, which is something they prepare for during advisory as well. So, you know, we try to make it as fun as we can, but attendance is taken, so it is something mandatory that they need to go to. But we hope it's going to be like that fun, relaxing place where they get to go once a week.
Mr. Caraway, if you can go back to the schedule for me. I am very, see where it says advisory? That is only on Wednesdays. So in helping you understand our complex schedule, on Wednesday after second block, they are in advisory in the main building from 11:09 to 11:38. If your child cuts class, they will be written up. They'll have to come see me or their assigned administrator, and we'll go from there. So when they come home and talk about advisory, just know they're supposed to be there, okay? All right. B, breakfast and lunch. So we do serve breakfast at 7:35 to 7:50 every morning. And we have what we call a second chance breakfast. In case they're not here to eat then, at the end of first block, we have carts positioned, or either they'll go to the cafeteria in both main buildings and they're able to still get breakfast, okay? And so that's between first and second blocks. And students are scheduled, if you go back to that schedule, you'll see that we have 2 lunches, first and second lunch. And so breakfast and lunch are free. If you have any questions, what time does the bus get to my house? The bus did not come. Where do they catch the bus? All transportation issues need to go to Mr. Grisby at that phone number with transportation. And don't fret, we are going to share this with you in the end, okay? C, Canvas. This is where parents can see student grades. And your student will provide you with the information to see the classes. So on the first day of school, they'll have the information for Canvas. for each of their teachers, and they'll come home and show you where to get that information. If a teacher probably thinks you're not on it, they may email you. Student services, do we have handouts for Canvas? Or, no, that's all done with the teacher. Okay. All right, so we have Canvas and we have, and maybe I shouldn't say this, but I am. So you have Canvas, that's where the teacher puts her syllabus, her weekly lesson plans, the assignments and grades. It does link up to PowerSchool, okay? And I'm saying this because I have to deal with it all the time. Sometimes they may not sync. If you see that there is a discrepancy, email the teacher and say, I see on Canvas it says one thing, but on PowerSchool it says another, so that we can look into it and find out and get it situated, okay? Cell phones. So, as you know, because it's been in the news, the state is proposing to ban cell phones. From what we understand, that may not happen until semester 2. So right now, we are still operating on our district cell phone policy. And that is, cell phones are used at teacher's discretion. Meaning, if the teacher says it's okay, you can use it, we're doing an activity, it's okay. When they say put it up, that means put it up. Each teacher will go over their cell phone policy, okay? And there are discipline consequences for cell phone. The first time, the teacher will say put it up. We will always give the students a chance to correct their behavior. Second time, teacher may call you. And when they call you to tell you about the cell phone, that's a warning. It's a level 1 offense. The next time, it comes to us, the administrators. And that's with an after-school detention. Third time, in-school suspension. We talk to you. And we can have them not have use of a cell phone on campus. Okay? Fourth time, out-of-school suspension. And we're going to talk about why the cell phone. We have conversations with you. After that, they could go to a hearing because of cell phone. And we don't want that to happen, okay? We want all children to be engaged in instruction during that time. Communication. Our modes are Sunday. Mr. Wright does Sunday call-outs. We have a school website, Facebook. We don't have Twitter. I need to take that out. And it's not Twitter anymore, it's called X, okay? And Instagram. And so in addition, we do have newsletters that are emailed to all parents who have a current email address in PowerSchool. And again, you met Ms. Springs, our CDF, for this. Dress code. So, our students must follow district dress code at all times, at all school events. Again, we always ask students to correct the dress code first. Hey, pull your hat off. You take it off, there are no more questions. So the things there, and I won't read them to you, those are what the dress codes are. Okay, some of the things that we have problems with. If they are cited, and we ask them to correct it, and they say they can't, sometimes their friends may, you'll be surprised they have extra clothes in the bag, or they know they needed to change before they got here. If it's too bad, we're going to send them to Ms. Natalie Ostrom. Would you like to talk? This is our AP secretary.
Hi, everyone. Usually they get sent to me for dress code. If they can call you and you can bring them something, that's fine. But they will probably end up in ISS until you bring them clothes.
Okay. Next. Eligibility. Any student, I'm going to let Coach Bowen, our athletic director, talk about that one.
Good evening. All right, real quick, with athletics, when it comes to eligibility, any incoming freshman is eligible their first semester of the academic school year. So anyone that's coming in as a freshman are automatically eligible for that first academic year, first semester of the academic year. That grade GPA starts accumulating in the second semester, and we'll start pulling grades. But we want to make sure that all our athletic programs we're putting in place right now. We want to make sure all our athletes are carrying a C average across the board in the classroom, and that's with all sports, just so that way we can push them to the next level if that's their choice. Also, when it comes to athletics, we want to get everybody involved. We offer many sports here: swim, golf, tennis, football, track, you name it. Some of them we may not have at the moment, but we are looking at building our athletic department even stronger. You can reach me, Ms. Lori, or Coach Ham in the Wellness Center. We'd be glad to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you. EOC, you will hear that during the end of the semester. If your student is enrolled in the 4 classes below, Algebra 1, English 2, Biology, and U.S. History, they will take the end of course exam, which is created by the U.S. Department of Education, and it counts 20% of their grade, of their final grade. Fees. There is a required $10 technology fee. Band, athletics, and parking are additional fees. And I believe many of you have been here to pick up your technology, your device. Guidance. I'm going to turn that over to Ms. McNeese, our Director of Guidance.
Good evening. I am DeLacy McNeese, the Director of Student Services here at Lugoff-Owen High School, and I have a wonderful Student Services department. Many members. I have 6 counselors, my CDF, Ms. Spring, who's over there, and then I have a registrar and a guidance secretary. But I would like to introduce my counselors that are here. So first off, we have Ms. Nevels. Most of them are here, and around with Ms. Nevels over here. The students' last names A through CH. Then we have Ms. Rawls. I don't remember the case was. CI through GRE. And then Ms. Johnson, GRI through LE. And Ms. Green, who is standing in the back, I believe, she is handing out the raffle tickets. She is LI through PH. Then we have Mr. Shiver, who's walking down the center aisle right now. And Miss America there, parading. And he does PI through S, and then I do the letters T through Z. And we hope that stays the same throughout your students' high school career, because we like to get to know our students and help them work through each grade level and anything they face. We're here for any questions that you may have. We will meet with them once a year to talk about the next school year and any other issues that may arise.
So, the handbook for H, it is located on our homepage. You can access that. And IGPs.
I'm on again. All right, so an individual graduation plan. I'm assuming if you were a member of this district last year in 8th grade, you started an IGP and a graduation plan with your 8th grade counselor. We continue those every year in high school. We will meet with you. We'll send out emails. I don't know how the 8th grade counselors do it, but what we do is around the time that we meet with your student, we are going to send out an email to the email address that you have on file in our student database. And each counselor will send it to their caseload parents, and we will have a link to a calendar for you to sign up for a day and time that fits your schedule. We don't assign you a day and time. We want you to fit it so it works with you and your student schedule. And you'll sign up and you can come in, or you can meet virtually. We do it every year because we want you to be involved in their education.
We really need you and your students to plan ahead. Deliveries are not allowed during the school day, especially food, outside food. So if students can come to school prepared for class and lunch, that would be great. Junior varsity athletics. So 9th graders we do have some 9th graders that are varsity, but mostly they are involved, and I think Coach Vogt wearing that. They are involved in JV. So there's a list of all of our JV teams. I won't read that, but you can read it in church. Mr. Wright, would you like to talk?
One thing very quickly, this is the first year that we will actually have a 9th grade football team. So if your 9th grader so we can help the kids in the program and help them advance appropriately. So if your ninth grader has not been out yet, but they are interested in playing ninth grade football, please, as Coach Boulware said, go to the Wellness Center next door, next to the stadium, get a physical, communicate with them. Practice starts next Monday. So we'd love to have your student out there participating in football, in all of our athletic programs.
Electronic devices, please keep them at home, other than the device that we give them for school use. We are not responsible for replacing missing or stolen items. And if they tell you, if you see the device that we gave them at home, and they tell you that they're using their cell phone, that's a no-no. They need to be using their device, okay? Library, it's the hub of our school, and Ms. Lemieux and her staff, they are always there to help us in any kind of way. Okay, classes go there for research. Again, it's the hub of the school. Is Ms. Shoemaker available? You met her out front, and you all received flyers about LEAF.
All right, so
Here she comes. Come on. I want you to put a name with the face.
So our agreement was if I had a table in the front, I wouldn't have to talk in front of anybody. So she got me. So LEAF is like high school PTO, but without any fundraising, like not like intense fundraising, so don't get like scared. But it's a great way for parents, community members, teachers to stay connected each and every month. We meet with the principal, ask any questions, concerns, how we can support students, are there any needs, ways that we can help students be involved in the community. So it's a really great way to stay plugged in when at the high school level, a lot of times parents feel disconnected. So an amazing opportunity. We try to meet the second Tuesday of each month at 5:30, unless we don't have school, and we don't have school. So, thank you.
And I'm sure many of you are aware or you have used Parent Portal, okay? Because you had it with your students if you've been in Kershaw County. Where are the peas? Did I skip that? I'm sorry. I'm trying to go too fast. Okay, so messages to students. If you need to contact a student, he or she can do this during their scheduled lunch or email them on school email. Please don't text them if you can't on the phone, because if they're in class and the teacher says cell phones away, we hear this a lot. Well, I'm talking to my mom. Yes, I understand that, but now is not the time to do that, and they can find themselves with a disciplinary, with a write-up, and we don't want to do that, okay? So we have non-negotiables, and the three non-negotiables when it comes to behavior: disrespect to an adult or to another student, disrupting the learning environment, because it's unacceptable to take away learning from others, and zero tolerance for illicit substances, weapons, or violence. We are here to help your students stay organized, okay? And organization is going to be a priority for our incoming freshmen. Changing classes every block and keeping up with assignments for 4 different teachers can be challenging. We have something, and I'll explain at the end, to help them on the first day of school, okay? Again, Parent Portal, this is where you are to go to check for grades. If you are not on Parent Portal and you need to sign up, that is done through Student Services. Ms. Messer can help them. I won't read that, you can read the rest. Parking. From what Ms. Okay?
Parking. If your child can drive legally, they can come and drive to school. Passes are $60 for the year, but if they start driving after January, it's $30. They will be assigned a spot, and they just need to come to me, and I will get them the pass, and we can get them set up.
Promotion and retention. It's different from middle school. They have to pass 6 Carnegie units in order to be promoted to the next grade, and math and English is a must. So they could pass everything and fail English, they would still be on 9th grade. They could pass everything and fail math, they would still be on 9th grade. So it's important that we give them the support from the start so this doesn't happen, okay? Kira, questions? So we encourage communication between parents and teachers and students. And the quickest form of communication is to email. And so there's an example of how to reach your child's teacher's email. Teachers will be sending home syllabus on the first day of school. All their information is going to be there. Take the time to look at it because they'll tell you how to communicate with them and the best way to do so. So a daily routine is a vital part of high school success. Our doors open at 7:35. If your child is dropped off before 7:35, unfortunately, they won't be supervised, okay? But if they're here at 7:35, the doors will open in the main building. When the doors open at 7:35, they have to come through open gates. Once they come through open gates, they can go to the cafeteria and get breakfast, or they can go to their first block teacher. If they are at the annex, they should not be dropped off over here at this main building. If they're being dropped off, they should be dropped off at the annex. Where are our drop-offs? The drop-offs are, the main building is in the front circle of the school, or in the car ride. You'll get used to it and your students will too. So students should be in their seats by 8 o'clock. After 8 o'clock, they're marked tardy. After 8:15, they are absent. They will be allowed in, but they're absent. Okay, if you have any questions on any cards, pass them to the inside out, and they're gonna pick them up, okay? Let's keep going. Safety. Your child's safety, that's our number one priority, is that everyone is safe. So if you have specific concerns, please call us and let us know what's going on so that we can investigate and check into it, okay? SIC is our School Improvement Council, and
All right, so for our SIC, we generally, as Ms. Shoemake said a little while ago, we have our School Improvement Council and Lugol Belton Academic Foundation meetings. We try for every second Tuesday, and we want to give parents, we certainly appreciate you coming out, but this gives us an opportunity to allow you to know what's going on, some of the school's goals, and some of the activities in 2 weeks. A little over 2 weeks, we're actually going to have Demon Fest, which is sponsored by LEAF and SIC. So we do encourage you to be a part of the culture here at Lugol Belton and be a part of the School Improvement Council.
sign these students out. In a nutshell, they can't just leave. It's our priority. I don't like it when I have to make that phone call. I don't know where your child is right now. And then later to find out, oh, they had a doctor's appointment and they just left. So we are responsible, again, safety is our number one priority. We are responsible for them at all times. So if they have a doctor's note, or let's say they have an appointment and they drive and you need them to leave at 11 o'clock, write a note, date it, give it to them. They are to drop it off in the front office when they come in the morning before 8. The secretary calls and verifies. They're going to call you and say, did you write this note? They have it in front of them. Once it's verified, then the child and the teacher is notified that they're free to go and they're signed out. Unfortunately, we don't do sign-outs via email or phone call, okay? There are emergencies, we do understand that. And if that happens, ask for your child's administrator, and we can handle that case by case need, okay? And our SRO is Lieutenant Kyle Hewitt and Sergeant Jason Oden. Is Sergeant Oden here? I know okay, so neither one of them are here. They had other schedule conflicts, and so they're not here. But they are on our campus every day. Hewitt is in the main building, and Odom is in the annex, but they do both go back and forth. If we need one over here, then we have them both, okay? Tardies. Again, students need to be in class when the bell begins to ring. Tardies are by class. And those are the consequences for tardies. Again, the first 14 minutes of class, they are tardy. When the 15-minute hit, then they're absent. But they are allowed to come in. Technology, we kind of talked about that, the $10 technology fee. Textbooks, our students may be assigned textbooks with individual barcodes, and when they are assigned a book, they must return the exact book that they are issued, or you're gonna owe them. You'll be indebted. And that will stay until they graduate. You may say, well, I'm not paying it this year. I'm not paying it next year. But when they become a senior, you'll have a bill. So it's best to just pay as you go, if you can. Okay. Unit scheduling. So we have a 4x4 block schedule. So each student takes 4 90-minute block classes every semester. So a 9th grader can expect 8 classes, 4 semesters, 1, 4 semester 2. And please note with the tardies and absences, they start over at the beginning of the 2nd semester because they're in class. So, we do have strict discipline, and our purpose here is to provide safe, caring, academically challenging environment. And so, we expect the best. We're going to love them. We're going to support them. And expect them not to interrupt our learning environment. So this is the time that I get to introduce my wonderful team. And so we have Miss Avery. Where did she go?
Right here.
Okay. Miss Avery handles students' last name A through D. Mr. Caraway, E through K. Would you like to say something? Okay. Mr. Lawson, he was in the back.
Yeah.
He stepped out.
Okay. He does L through R. There's Mr. Lawson. I am Mrs. Lee. I handle S through Z. And then Miss Lee Aby. Where's Lee? She's in the booth back there. So she's our assistant principal of instruction. Oh, in WTC, that's our technology center. So it may be requested by students in grade 10 through 12. 9th graders Miss Spring will take them on a tour of WTC if they sign up. They have to have a permission form to go. So they get to go and see all the careers that are offered, the requirements that it takes to get there, but they will do that in
Usually November.
November. Okay? Excellent teachers. Our teachers work very hard to ease the transition from middle to high school. And so we emphasize responsibility, accountability, and independence on the student part. So your children are the youngest kids on the block. And you often worry about them being the youngest in AU school. But administration and our faculty, we are committed to making this transition from middle to high school a successful one for you. And we've started that by meeting with you tonight. And we have zero tolerance. We have a safe school climate where drugs, alcohol, bullying, and weapons are prohibited. And And so here are our social media websites. And so now we'll have questions.
Okay, everybody, I am Mrs. Avery, Jill Avery. I am class of 19 last century, and I probably have been here one of the longest. I've been here since '03, and I see some familiar mamas and daddies that I've worked with some of their students before, and I've actually had people here that I actually taught when I was in the classroom. So hopefully I can answer your questions here, and apparently we wrote something on the PowerPoint that we were not clear on. When we say no hoodies, we don't mean you can't wear a hoodie. You just can't wear the hood, okay, of the hoodie. So when we often say, hey, take your hoodie off, we don't mean undress. We mean take the hat part off, okay? So, I mean, that was clearly the most, inquiring type of thing. There was another question regarding sunglasses. When you're going between the buildings, like if you have to go between the main building and the annex, yes, sunglasses are fine outside. Walking back and forth. I actually carry an umbrella with me. I have an SPF 50 umbrella that I wear outside because it does get warm. When does tennis start? Girls' tennis is in the fall and boys' tennis is in the spring. And for new students to Kershaw County, will we have an opportunity to set schedules and goals and etc. I believe that's asked about the IDPs. If you get in touch with student services, they'll get you with your counselor and get that set up. Is that acceptable, Ms. McNeese?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. If that doesn't answer your question, just say, well, no, you don't, that wasn't it. Okay. Do we have a late start Wednesday? We do not have late start. I noticed on one of the slides that it did say late start, but we do not have late start. Every day is 8 a.m. That was on one of the bell schedules. We just forgot to change that to Wednesday and advisory. If a student is late at 8:15 but at school, how does that work? They're absent. I'm not sure. I know the answer. I'm just not 100% clear on the.
Yeah, the state law is that if you're 15 minutes late for a class, you're marked absent for that class, not for the whole day. So middle school, elementary, a lot of times you're counted absent for the whole day, but this is class by class. So you can have 7 absences in first block because you came 4 days late, 15 minutes late, so you were marked absent, but have very few in your second, third, and fourth. And you might have to validate only for that first class. So validation is if you go over what Ms. McNeese was talking about, or actually Ms. Huntley, when you were talking about when you go over 5, after that 5th one, everything has to be excused. Okay, if it's not excused, then you have to validate for that day. The biggest thing is have your kids come to school. If they miss school, it needs to be a lawful absence, either medically or you're going to court or something of that nature that they have a good excuse to go to. Okay? Does that answer?
The big thing to remember is in high school, in order to earn a Carnegie unit, there are 2 components. Okay? It's the grade, which has to be a 60 or higher, and it's the attendance. And that's the thing that hangs parents up, especially as freshmen, because really, they do the work, but it's the attendance. So she wants to talk a second about FAs, but there are 2 components, grades and attendance.
Yes, I do. Attendance in student services, that's in an attendance office, that's our biggest concern, the thing we see the most. You've all heard attendance matters. It does. We cannot educate, love, support, keep your kids safe if they are not in our school building. Okay? And she's right. You have to have a certain amount of seat time to get a credit. We don't make the law, but we have to follow it. And for example, let's say your student missed too many days and they passed the class with 100. They don't get that 100. They get something on their transcript that says failure due to attendance and it's a 50 in their GPA. So you have to be here. You miss instruction when you're not here. That's one of the biggest reasons our students are retained. Ninth graders don't come to school. They're not aware of it should be, in middle school you need to be there too. But that's the biggest thing we see. We want your kids to be promoted to the next grade. We want them to get 24 credits to graduate. We want them to go on and do good things. But if they don't come, they can't do that. So if you don't take anything away, please, please, please have your kids come to school every day. We love them here. We want them here. And if everyone wants it back.
Oh, because this fits right in. It says, does ISS count as an absent for class? And a good way to think about regarding attendance, if I put your child out, if the court puts your child out, if a doctor puts your child out, that's probably going to be lawful. But if you put your child out and y'all go somewhere, that's probably unlawful regarding validation. Now the courts and truancy, that's a different parameter, but think of it that way regarding validation. And I think I said that. Okay. Traffic. There's a great deal of concern regarding traffic. No, unfortunately, we don't have concessions for the traffic or tardies. We're able to do that with the buses, but we cannot do that for cars, unfortunately. Because once again, that is, if the buses are us, and that's a lawful, but we unfortunately have some people that would take advantage of that. Well, what is the earliest drop-off time? Like, we supervise at 7:35. They asked about the earliest drop-off time for car riders. That's a good non-answer, I guess. I mean, you're not going to have supervision, okay? So there's that. Student car riders, do they get a car rider tag? No. We don't have car rider tags. We don't call out. Just coordinate with your family on how you're going to pick up. And I'm going to tell you, it's going to be tough the first couple of days, but it will work out, okay? Bus riders. Okay, buses, they're here at 7:30. There is absolutely no reason for the buses to be late. I can't remember the last time we had a late bus. And for those of you whose students have first block in the annex, and you'll know your students have an annex class if the room number has an A or annex in front of it. They are to report directly to the annex. Okay, there are questions here regarding the number of students that are eating at one time. Well, if the students who are at the annex are eating breakfast at the main building but not where they're supposed to be in the annex, that makes it difficult. Okay, there are some things that we have to work together as a team in order to make it successful for everybody. And bus numbers, I'm going to be honest with you, we really do not do anything with the buses as far as the high school is concerned. We do deal with the discipline regarding the buses, but bus questions need to be directed to bus transportation. Some buses have elementary school students on it and middle school, and that's why we're really not involved with the bus transportation, because it encompasses all the schools. Okay, hopefully were able to see the number. Oh, there you go. There's his number, Mr. Grigsby. He's a great guy. All right, technology, when can you pick up? We've had all our pickup days prior to school. So if your student hasn't had an opportunity to pick it up, there will be times, I believe the first day of school. We anticipate that not everybody can come. We all have all these things during the day. Not everybody can come every day, every time. Student passes that are being sold tomorrow. I believe this is in reference to the athletic passes. Yeah, I don't know the specific details. Usually they're about $60, and they can get them in like every game. Right, Mr. Wright?
All 3 seasons, so that will cover football games, track meets, basketball games, wrestling matches, whatever would happen. So that will cover everything you want your students to have.
Right, so that's actually really inexpensive. And you think about it, it's $7 a person, and then that would be $70 if they go to 10, and I think it's 60. Regarding IEPs, okay, you're going to get a case manager, And those teachers will be reaching out to you, and Mr. Lawson or myself can answer more specific questions at the end. Sports tryout information, that would be on the website. And question about breakfast. So usually and I assume this is referring to second breakfast, but most of our students are here, they get here at 7:35, they come in, they go eat breakfast. They don't have difficulty eating fairly quickly. I understand there's also concern regarding the lunches. We walk around, we monitor the kids. I might say, hey, you're sitting by yourself, you didn't get lunch. Are you okay? You good? And do you want lunch? And we want them to eat, and we want them to feel like they can tell us if they're having problems. Please encourage them. We know and we anticipate that the first few days in the lunch line is going to be a challenge for everybody. Especially, for the ninth graders, because they're looking for friends, because they don't know, where's my best friend? Do we actually have a say? And they're here, they're nervous, okay? Please just encourage them to let us know and tell us. Like, last year, I saw somebody not eating, and I had a conversation with them, and then later on, that person told their parent that nobody had helped them all day long. And I was like, oh, okay. Well, I guess they didn't think I was helpful, but we're here for them, okay? We are here for them, okay? And I know and it's scary because you hear all these horror tales and everything, but bad stories are the ones that grab people's attention, okay? That's all I'm going to say about that, okay? And we'll hold the bell if we need to. It's important that they get lunch and they get those routines down. Routines are important. If you're having trouble with the email going to Kershaw County School District, please contact Student Services. They will get that straightened out. Students have 30 minutes to eat lunch. It's not 800 kids for lunch. I think our biggest lunch is about 500 because not all students eat lunch. I think we average around 400 a lunch, around serving each lunch. Does that sound about right? And remember, we have 2 lunch locations on the campus. I will tell you one reason why the first day is hectic, because the kids are like, oh, it's time to eat. But you were supposed to be over there. And we have students that eat in the wrong lunch, but we know this is going to happen, and we're here to help them if they're in the wrong place, because after they eat, they go, well, where am I supposed to be? And then we figure it out. We don't figure it out till after they eat, because they want to eat first. Okay? Yeah, okay, and I don't know, did y'all use Smart Passes in your school last year? We use Smart Passes, okay, they will be using Smart Passes here again. You will get a copy of this slide deck. Do the students have lockers? Students can get lockers. We haven't had anybody really in a while get a locker. They can see Ms. Ostrom over there, she's the assistant principal secretary, and they can have lockers. I will tell you, it's best for kids that are having a lot of athletic gear, or they're going to spend the night at a house somewhere and they're carrying a lot of bags around, but we don't necessarily issue a ton of books, and they only have 4 classes, so traditionally they don't get lockers. All they have to do is say, hey, I need a locker, can you show me where to go? Okay, we do have lockers. Mr. Carraway, you want to talk about class sizes? The question is, are class sizes distributed evenly? Meaning if they are strong in English, will they be placed in class with students at the same level, or will we mix to give that child a chance to improve?
The answer to that is if they're in AP or honors classes, they'll be placed in those levels. Our CP classes is a random draw. So, for instance, English 1. There's 19 different classes I think 18 or 19 different classes in English 1. So it's random. They're going to be placed in all of that. If they're honors English 2, because if your child took English 1 last year in middle school, they'll more than likely be in honors English 2. So then they would be put together in that class. Does that answer it? It's random, it's computer generated, so it's not us sitting there saying we're going to put X over here. So one thing I wanted to mention, Mr. Wright does an excellent job of sending out a call out every week. If you're not getting a call out every Sunday, then you need to check your emails and make sure, because he sends a call out every week that pretty much details everything throughout the whole year. Validation will be in there. How many weeks we got? He puts that in there 30-something weeks, so you're going to get it every week. You can read through it, okay? I would recommend looking all the way to the end, because sometimes there's valuable stuff at the bottom, and there'll be links that he'll put in that you can always go back and look at. That's one of the big things. As a former coach and a person that graduated here as well, I would encourage your kids to get involved in something, okay? We don't care what they're involved with. But if they don't get involved in something positive, they're going to find something to get involved with, okay? So one thing I tell parents, whether it's sports, I mean, I grew up with sports and loving that, whether it's band, it doesn't matter. Get your kid involved in something here at the school. If they get connected, it helps them socially, emotionally, but it also helps them have a little motivation to come to school and want to do a good job. So I've been a firm advocate that getting your kid involved in something, and there's a link in, I think there's a link in here that goes over our club. Get them involved in something, please, okay? If you don't know what the options are, call us and ask, because we're here to help, but I will say that's one of the biggest things. Speaking of traffic, the first few days, and y'all are coming, a lot of y'all are coming from Lugoff Elgin Middle, so you know the traffic out front there. Those of you that are coming from Stover as well, if you're driving your child to school, I would recommend, of course, getting here a little bit early. But with this road in between the annex and the main building being open, okay, you can drop your child off anywhere in between that as well. So if your kid has a class at the annex, drop them off at the annex. But if your kid has a class that's in the wellness center or right here, you can drop them off right here in between if that's convenient for you. One thing I'm going to ask you to avoid, if you drop off in the front of the school, do not try to make a left turn in the morning. You'll sit there for 30 minutes because there's no one there directing. And here's why we did this years ago. It makes sense if you think of it logically. If you need to make a left turn and you need to come back, number one, towards the bridge, you need to come off of Richardson because it has a light. And the light will turn, and then you can make that turn and there's no problem. If you're making a right going back towards Elgin, then you should be able to get out easy because they're going to have SRO. They're not going to have one out at the front of the middle school next year either, okay? And the reason why, and I know for parents it's an inconvenience for you, but the reason why we wanted to do so if they're out on the roads directing traffic, we don't have that extra security in the building. So that's the main reason. I know it's not convenient, but that's one of the main reasons. But promise you, please don't try to make a left turn out here because you're going to sit there for 30 minutes in the morning. If you're making rights, then I would drop them off at the front. Okay, depending on where you live, and you'll figure it out after the first few days what's best for you. But I will say the annex dropping off in between that little cut-through road is pretty convenient for most people because you can get to number 1 and Wildwood pretty quickly. You can also do that from Richardson. I would recommend the front being the least amount to be dropped off, and if you are dropping off at the front, you're only making a right going back towards Elgin. Is that fair? I know you mentioned that, but I wanted to double down on please don't try to make a left there.
Okay, real quickly, there was a couple cards regarding like behavior and classroom behavior. I taught in 3 different school districts, and I will tell you, by far, we have the best behaved students, okay, that across the board. I mean, they are real awesome. Do we have some turkeys? Yeah, we got some turkeys. Everybody's got turkey. My youngest is a turkey. And it happens, okay? But as as far as classroom disruptions, rarely do we have classroom disruptions. I know there was concern regarding the fighting. I will tell you that I look back over our referrals from last year, 1% of our referrals were for fighting or hit, kick, punch, okay? The bulk of the referrals were tardies, cutting class, and defiant. Now understand, now defiant is a strong word, but sometimes that's like, I didn't show up for lunch detention, or I didn't show up for after school detention. So, big picture, I know things get, in, social media and everything, but just remember that's 1%. The bulk of our students are super awesome, and I can retire, I'm a senior citizen, but I still come here with the students because they really are good and we love having them. And we're excited about this school year. Ms. Davids, you want to speak? This is Ms. Davids. She's involved with the Link Crew and Freshman Orientation tomorrow.
Good evening. My name is Olivia Davids. I'm a math teacher here and also one of your coordinators for Link Crew. Link Crew is who has been calling or reaching out to your students within the last few days to invite them to orientation. If you did not receive a call, they're trying to make calls now. We have a little mix up with phone numbers, but that's on us. So Link Crew and freshman orientation is tomorrow at 8 a.m. If you did not register your student and you want them to attend, they are more than welcome to come. There is no oh, I didn't register, I didn't get to come. Please show up. It starts at 8 o'clock. It is not meant to go over rules. So I don't want you to go and send your kid and be like, you're going over your rules, you're going over the handbook. This is truly meant for them to find a mentor within the school. It is all juniors and seniors run. The only time they will see basically an adult is at the beginning and the end. The rest is truly run by our fabulous group of 75 juniors and seniors who are in the cafeteria right now, trying to prepare for them. They'll be here till 9 o'clock tonight. But I'm going to ask that you not attend because, again, if this is a mentor situation, we want them to have a pure relationship with these kids. So what they will do tomorrow is they'll have a lot of fun activities. They will go on a tour of the school, including the annex, all the way to the annex and back, and then into the main building, and they will spend some time in some of the classrooms. And then at the end of orientation tomorrow, they will get their schedules. So we are currently, right now what's happening is our kids are going through your children's schedules to make sure there are no gaps, there are no holes, there are not any issues in terms of like a back and forth schedule. So the goal is to have a good schedule by tomorrow. So if you were worried about a schedule being given, your kids will have a schedule tomorrow, okay? And then you can pick up and drop off either in the front or the back parking lots. We ask that you spread out because that's 500 kids. Like that's a lot of kids trying to get in and out. And I know you're gonna be tired at noon o'clock and I'm gonna be tired at noon o'clock. So if you have any questions, please email either myself, it's alivia.davids, or Brandy Scholl. We have as many answers as we can try to find for you. But again, freshman orientation is really meant for the kids. They have a good time. They're gonna come home and tell you it's the dumbest thing they've ever done in their life. I agree, I'm just kidding. No, I have a great time with it. They're gonna tell you they sing a stupid song. I will teach them the stupid song. But truly, it is not meant to teach rules. Okay, they will get that when they do their class meeting within the first week. They will get the handbook given to them. This is truly meant for them to find someone that they can communicate with. It's someone that, I don't know how it was when you were in school, but like when I was in school, I felt more comfortable going to my friends with problems than I did an adult. And so in this situation, it is an older student who can come to admin or myself or Ms. Scholl or any of the guidance counselors and be like, hey, we're hearing about an issue, can we help them? And so this is a really good opportunity. Please support your kids coming and enjoying the time. And then as they can become juniors and seniors, I need 150 each year, so I will take all of them. Good involvement. But other than that, I can't wait to see them. We are so excited to welcome them. Can you believe they're the class of 2028? No, I know, it's so crazy. But if you have any questions, please let me know. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for your attention tonight. We have some goodie bags for your students. Coming from middle school, there is no school supply list, and we took that into consideration. So in these bags,